Hey guys, Aaron Schober here at Sword Carolina. Quick question for you. What part of the sword do you thrust with? So if you said the point of your sword, you are correct. But what exactly is the point? In my mind, the point is more than just the very tip of the sword. It's actually the last several inches of the sword, all the way into like the weak of your sword. So here's what I mean. If we're thrusting at somebody, and if all I do is put my tip on them, nothing has happened. I actually have to run it into or through the person or the target for an actual thrust to have taken place. So when we're using rebaited or blunted swords, and we're using a solid target like a Pell, we're using a partner where we're not actually thrusting into them, for safety's sake, we can unconsciously come up with the thought that this is a thrust, where I'm just touching the opponent. I'm just getting my point to touch something. This is not actually the thrust. This is just me putting my point online, putting my point onto the target. For the thrust to occur, it would have to go in or through. So obviously we can't do that if we're working with a training partner because someone would end up getting hurt or killed. So when we're working on that, we want to try to simulate the historical techniques as closely as possible, or at least be aware of them. If we can't run someone through, we need to at least be aware of the difference so that we can mimic as closely as possible the historic techniques. So one thing we can do is to thrust until we get that flex in the blade. If I get a flex in the blade, that has some power to it. That's also closed in a little bit closer. That's going to be an actual thrust. Another thing we can do if we're training a drill where we thrust, like this week we were doing the Zornhau Ort, if we're doing a thrust and we don't want to repeatedly thrust the other person in the chest to flexing the blade, especially without any protective equipment on, the other thing we can do is collapse our arms a bit. So instead of thrusting into and through my opponent, I'm going to go through get in the same range, but I'm going to let my arms collapse a little bit. Let my arms retract. So instead of thrusting the point through the other person, the point stays online, but I'm still closing in to a more realistic position, more realistic distance. So just a quick thing to think about. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will come at you again very soon. You guys rock.